What's up, Rock Band 4 fans? And we had an amazing weekend at PAX East. We had Harmonix talk about what future plans they have in store for Rock Band 4. And I want to talk about the 7 things I want to see from Rock Band 4 this holiday season. And I want you guys to let me know what are some of your items that you guys want to see as well. And it's been a pretty rough year if you're a Rock Band 4 fan. To start off the year, there wasn't really a lot to look forward to. The game had half the features that the last gen versions did. And their updates that they were doing every month were pretty incremental. They weren't substantial. And the DLC has been very pop oriented. So let's talk about what kind of things I want to see this fall. So let's talk about online play. Now, I have a lot of things I'd love to see with online play, but let's start with why online play was probably a failure on the last gen Rock Band. And I think a big reason for that is that it was just too simplified and it wasn't structured. It felt like Harmonix sort of created online play sort of as like an afterthought. It's like, okay, here you guys go. Here's the modes of online play. Have fun with it, but we're not going to actually build a really great way to interact with each other and a great community. One of the biggest issues I had with the online mode in past games was that half of the players didn't even own DLC, or if they did, they'd usually own like 2 Avenged Sevenfold songs, and you'd be stuck playing Afterlife over and over again. And hopefully this is something Harmonix addresses, and they really need to improve the matchmaking in Rock Band 4. So if I want to play with people who have a lot of DLC, I should be able to filter through those kinds of players. I'd also love to see some cross-platform play. I know that one's really probably not going to happen, but it is a possibility, and I'd love to see that happen because a lot of you guys who watch this channel, you guys are Xbox One owners, and I want to play with you guys as well. Now, one of the worst parts of playing online in past Rock Band games is that you couldn't control who picked songs. So if you're playing with a guy who's a real jerk, he could just pick 20 songs on the set list, and then he'll just randomly hit the finish set list button, and you're stuck playing his 20 songs. Or if you picked a song that he didn't like, he would just, quit the game and that would be it. You have to look for new people. They really need to have some sort of host options where the host can control how many songs each person can pick. And I think shows mode would be perfect for online play, largely because everybody's voting on the songs. And I think hopefully that's a mode they do port over to online play. The other thing I would love to see is if you have a band of 4 people and say 3 people own a certain piece of DLC, but the 4th guy doesn't, you would never be able to play that game in past Rock Band games. I think it would be really cool if at least half of the band own a specific piece of DLC that all the band members could still play it. So the guys who don't actually own the song, they get a taste of what that song could be like, and maybe it'll convince them to go buy it off the music store. That one's a pretty tall order. I don't know if Harmonix can actually do it. The other thing I would really love is a leveling system similar to what we have in Guitar Hero Live. Like, that's the one thing I do like about Guitar Hero Live, is that when you're playing GHTV, you level up, you rank up, you unlock new things, you get new player cards, you get all these cool kind of things. And I think that's something that should really be implemented in Rock Band 4. And especially when you're playing with other people, it gives you a sense of exactly how skilled that person is. If you guys remember in past Rock Band online modes, there'd be like that platinum icon. So if certain guys have that platinum icon, they're pretty skilled and you could probably play harder songs with them. They need something like that. And this is something that a lot of people are going to relate to who have played Rock Band online with other people. The communication is dreadful in Rock Band 3. And even in all the previous Rock Bands as well. Like, you wouldn't even be able to have an in-game chat. So the only way you could communicate with a guy in Rock Band online is if you guys were both using a microphone. And the chances of a guitar player, or a drummer, or a bassist having a microphone to chat with was pretty slim. I mean, I was pretty much left with exiting to the home screen and then sending private messages to the guys I was playing with because they were on my friends list. So if I was playing with guys who aren't on my friends list, it was just a nightmare to try to communicate. And I think this is one of the biggest issues and biggest concerns that Harmonix has to address with online play. The other thing I'd love to see is, like, as soon as you join a band and you go to the song selection menu, I'd love it if it would show each band member's favorite songs or their top 10 favorite songs or something like that. That way you can get an understanding of exactly which genres of music the guys you're playing with actually enjoy, and then you can maybe cater your song choices to that. And in terms of matchmaking with people who have similar DLC, the one thing I hated about Rock Band 3, I think it was, you'd have to sort through all the songs that the other guy didn't even own, but they would still show up on the song selection screen. So if there's songs that I own but the other guy doesn't, those songs shouldn't even be showing up in the song selection menu. So getting off online play, let's look at the second thing I want most, which is Rock Band Blitz 2, or some sort of Rock Band Blitz mode in Rock Band 4. I'm a huge fan of Rock Band Blitz, and I'd love to see it return as a game mode in Rock Band 4. In fact, it would offer kind of a nice break from actually playing an instrument. My only suggestion for improving Rock Band Blitz is to make it more multiplayer friendly and removed the stupid need to be online in order to use the power-ups. So if you weren't connected to the internet, you couldn't use the power-ups, which I still don't understand the thinking behind that to this day. The other thing I'd love to see is an improved song sorting and filtering option in the shows mode. Now they said they're going to be improving the way you sort your song library with the fall update, but I want to see a transfer over to shows mode as well. So if you guys wanted certain songs to show up in shows mode or have like a certain kind of shows mode set list, like a grunge shows mode, you could do that. I wish that was something they can really do. The other demand I have, or the thing I'd like to see, and this is probably not going to happen, is I hope there's less pop music. You know, Rock Band back in the day was a great way to learn about new bands that maybe you weren't familiar with. Like, I discovered so many great bands that I didn't even know about, like the Fratellas, Mission to Burma, Mute Math, and more. And hopefully this fall brings more rock music to the fold. The other thing I'd love to see is improved live elements. You know, Rock Band's all about pretending you're a band on stage and that you're performing for people. And it doesn't really do a great job at making you feel like you're playing as like a live band. It would be great if they brought some of the features they originally had planned, like the ability to talk to the audience, drummer count-ins, and another thing I'd love is if the songs transition more smoothly from one song to the next. So if you're like playing the drums and you're like ending the song with doing like crash sustains, that could transition right into the beginning of the next song, so you don't have to worry about seeing your scores. It's kind of like playing a concert. I don't know if you would call it concert mode or live mode, something like that. Another thing I'd like to borrow from Guitar Hero is party play. So if you guys played Guitar Hero 5, you know there was like a party play option where anybody can just jump in and you could have any combination of instruments. You could have 4 drummers, 4 guitarists, or 2 vocalists and 2 drummers. And, you know, that way, you know, a guy isn't getting stuck playing bass. That's one of the worst parts of any Rock Band party, is deciding who gets to play bass. And then the final thing I would love to see, and it's because Harmonix is teaming up with PDP, is seeing a new stage kit or old stage kit support. So if you were a PlayStation 3 owner like myself, you never got to experience the joy of the Rock Band stage kit. For those who don't know what it is, it served as both a smoke machine and a light show for your Rock Band parties. And since PDP created the original stage kit, and I think they've already said they're not going to be making a stage kit, but I would love it if they would, you know, bring it back or at least create support for the old stage kits. That would just make my day for sure. So that basically does it for the 7 things I want to see from Rock Band 4 this fall and holiday season. What are the things that you guys want to see, and what do you guys think of my wish list? Do you guys like it or do you guys not like it? Comment below and let me know. And as always, guys, make sure you subscribe for the latest rhythm gaming news and check out my article on Canadian Online Gamers, which is down in the description box below. Take care.